by minute update to see if there's any BSS happening. There's been a lot of crazy shit that has been happening. I think it's at 3. Regardless, I will be live at that time. So tomorrow for sure, I'm going to be live during the daytime. Don't you worry. I can't be late to that because I want to cover it while it's happening, right? Anyway, so the judge yesterday actually wrote this letter and put it in the docket saying, yo, Diddy, your lawyer might have capped to me in front of me. Y'all said that the stuff that they seized from Diddy's cell was attorney-client privilege, essentially because y'all wrote on the booklet or the pamphlet or the manila folder legal. Well, I looked through the sealed documents, and they took photographs of what they took. Nothing says legal. So when you walked up, and apparently this happened in court, he gave an example of what it should have looked like. They're saying what the government took or the Bureau of Prisons took don't look like that. Nothing says legal. So were you capping? And that's the update from yesterday, which, Diddy, remember I said Diddy got like this big win where I'm like, yo, the prosecutors look kind of embarrassed and unprepared because it looks like they violated Diddy's rights. But the judge is kind of going back on that saying, did you really violate his rights or did Diddy's lawyer just lie? So we'll figure out that drama. Regardless, some more drama, and it's going to keep happening. All type of stuff keep happening all over the place with Diddy. The new drama in ahead of the bail hearing tomorrow is some documents that were filed today, a lot of them, by Diddy. Now, Diddy filed this document. By the way, Diddy submitted his own 20-minute long videotape. I don't know what it is. It's under seal. We can't see it. The judge could see it. So Diddy, I don't know if maybe he has access to some of, some footage from some surveillance things, or he's using discovery stuff. And, obviously they took supposedly terabytes. Like, I think it was like tens of terabytes of data and security footage. Anyway, he submitted a 20-minute video. We don't know exactly what it is. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Give me 1 second. Oh my God. All right, here we go. So, a couple things is happening. He submitted an entire video that we don't know what it is. So a lot of it, which we're going to read, is going to be redacted, right? But secondly, Diddy kind of came out and said, yo, that video of me giving Cassie the beats, yo, y'all edited that shit. That shit ain't go down like that. Now, to me, this is like really crazy and a little bit tone deaf because Diddy is trying to make an argument saying the government edited the video they leaked to CNN to make Diddy look more violent than he actually is. And I'm like, wait, that's the argument? That's a crazy argument. I'm not even that violent. Yeah, of course. Is that you kicking her? Yeah, that's me kicking her. Is that you throwing shit? Yeah, that's me doing that. But there's some space in between where I didn't do nothing. Or I was, like, I don't know what is the mindset here. Also, I keep saying that, in trying to win this PR war and make Diddy not look that much of a bad guy, nothing Diddy has done or even said takes accountability or has any type of, oh, damn, I feel bad for the person who was getting beat up. It feels like, oh, y'all just keep coming at me, which again is a little bit tone deaf because everybody's looking at you to say, what, nigga? Anyway, let me just go through this shit real quick. I know we don't want to drag this like sometimes I do. So first and foremost, it says, here we go. So this is a declaration, and this is Tenny Garagos, which is Mark Garagos' daughter. Apparently, they have filed that, listen, they've been interviewing witnesses, right? And the reason why they're filing this stuff is that the government is claiming Diddy's trying to intimidate witnesses. And they're trying to say, no, he's not. And also, they're putting themselves on the hook by saying, hey, when we did talk to some of these people, like for example, there's somebody called Witness One who I think is the bodyguard. Apparently, they sat with the bodyguard, but the lawyer was present, and they're like, "Hey, we didn't know the person was a witness, like, and we were there. Like, none of the conversation we had, and we'll even vouch, we'll swear under penalty of perjury. We ain't trying to pay nobody off. That's basically what they're trying to get at, right? So they're saying, so the two lawyers began interviewing witnesses for this matter in April, okay, after the Department of Homeland Security raided two of his cribs, and they stated examples of these interviews at the bail hearing, right? So whatever, okay. So this is just from this is from the transcript. It says, after Mr. Combs' indictment, the government and I began negotiations over the protective order because we had a protracted discussions. We didn't come to agreement on the terms until about October 4th. Hold on, let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay. I'm trying to get to the interesting part. Even without the benefit of government discovery, Mr. Agnifilio and I, so the lawyers, in the beginning of October, the investigator traveled to blah, blah, to interview multiple witnesses. So basically they're saying, yo, we were trying to do our own investigation. If the government saw us doing our own investigation, that was just us trying to prepare for a possible case. That wasn't us trying to pay people off, right? I met with my client, all right, whatever. Okay. Now, they also talk about, here we go, the individual who, as the government state, has publicly detailed the physical abuse she suffered, remained romantically involved with Mr. Combs on and off until less than a month before victim one filed her November 2023 lawsuit. What? Oh, okay. So there's a potential other witness, right? There's a potential other witness that they're saying that Diddy was fucking until a month before Cassie, victim one is always going to be Cassie, filed the lawsuit. And I sent the other lawyer and our investigator this text message. The next day, our client made a call, which they're explaining why Diddy called people. The last part of the sentence, which is not included in the government's brief, but it is in the exhibit, states, okay, all right, whatever. You're going to see much of this redacted because this is not for public. This is for just the judge to see, really. Okay. Okay. Therefore, after October 7th, I have not reviewed any discovery where Mr. Combs states on any calls or in any emails to anyone to contact victim 3. Ooh, who's victim 3? On October 7th, we received the government search warrant affidavits. It became clear to me from so-and-so that victim 3 was considered an alleged victim by the government, and that, we don't know what this is saying. With this information from the search warrant affidavit, okay. Therefore, after October 7th, I have not reviewed any discovery, blah, blah, blah. Who's victim 3? Instead, Mr. Combs focused on potential witnesses to address victim 3 and possible allegations. Okay, so they're basically saying he ain't never tried to blackmail any victims. If anything, he would try to get other people that were around when he was with these women that could testify to, yo, you were the driver when I was always with this chick, right? What was the nature of our relationship? Was I like forcing her? Was she saying she horny? Was she sucking me off in the back of the car willingly? Like, I guess that's what they're saying, that they're hitting up people for witnesses to kind of see if that's what their story is, which is not witness tampering. That's them doing their own investigation, right? Okay. Who the government described as witness one and blah, blah. Okay, now witness one, I think this is the bodyguard, that Roger Bond dude. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I kind of think, right? Prior to reviewing the government search warrants, I was unaware that the government put witness one in the grand jury. So they're saying that they know before the search warrant that this witness one was actually working with the government, or at least got subpoenaed. I learned of witness one when Mark Agnifilio and I was in Miami meeting with our client at his house as part of our defense investigation. We discussed several individuals who we should interview as part of the defense. They got photos, but it's all blacked out. We can't see shit. On whatever, I traveled to continue the investigation. They met with Mr. Combs, and they called. Okay, so they're basically saying we were coming up with a strategy to defend Diddy, a lot of these calls, we're with him on. Like, we're his lawyers. We have investigators. Remember I told you Diddy's supposedly has a burn rate of like $2 million. He's paying like several investigative teams, right? You have a team here there for a couple civil lawsuits. You have a team here for the criminal stuff. You have a team here just to kind of also figure out if they have all type of teams from what I've heard. It said Mr. Combs made this call in our presence. So basically, and this is how you know Diddy's paying his lawyers good. Again, when you do a declaration, it's basically you're declaring on the penalty of perjury. His lawyers is basically saying, hey, if we lie, lock us up. So his lawyers are basically vouching, saying, hey, we were there. We seen this shit. Diddy ain't do nothing wrong. I memorialized this conversation in writing at the time, okay? On July 8th, I believe I contacted witness one for his attorney's name and information. We then spoke with their attorney, who declined to make his client available for an interview. All right. So, again, I think witness one might be Roger Bond, but I don't know. Individual one, it said this individual of the government stated is Mr. Combs so-and-so. I don't know who that is. The government writes that Mr. Combs said he has blah, blah. This has nothing to do with whatever. Oh, shit. Yeah, we don't know who that is. There's no indication in this call or any to any others I've received and discovered, listened to, that he wanted to distribute so-and-so or videos of victim one to the media. Oh. Instead, he says, I don't know what this is. Mr. Combs says next, here Combs is referencing a unreleased music video of a song called Stay, Part 1 from his September 2023 album called Love Album. He stated so-and-so but so-and-so. It's my understanding that so-and-so, i.e. dropping song and music videos anonymously, is a regular practice in the music industry. It's also my understanding that the music video for the song was never so-and-so. I reviewed the music video on the evening of November 20th and can confirm this music video does not reference victim one. Because individual one is Mr. Oh, okay, so individual one is the longtime videographer. Huh. Could that be... What's that dude's name again? But he claimed he was getting fucked, but he was recording a bunch of shit. But he said he was a producer, though. What's that guy named? Lil Rod? You think that's Lil Rod? Who the fuck is Diddy's longtime videographer? Lil Rod, videographer, Diddy? Yeah, he basically was recording a bunch of videos, right? Yeah, he's never really listed as a videographer, but he had mad video. Oh, look. Ooh. Look. NBC News reports that Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a producer and videographer. Ooh, so maybe it is. Maybe, which is interesting if Lil Rod is listed as individual one and not a victim. Because Lil Rod claimed he was getting fucked too. If Lil Rod was telling the truth about everything he claimed in his lawsuit, he should be a victim. But we'll find out later, right? This seems to be Lil Rod. I gotta put a list of this shit. Give me 1 second. This is only speculation, chat. I'm just trying to figure out because until we get to court, we're just not gonna know the full stuff. So I think witness one is Roger Bond. I think individual one is Lil Rod. Okay, cool. Let's keep it going. All right. So apparently Diddy's team hit up Lil Rod, which is kind of like almost. I don't know if it's him though. Truth be told, I don't know if it's him because it also says longtime videographer, and also why would you hit up the person who's suing you? So it might not be him. Yeah, let me not commit to that. I had asked him to provide me all the videos he had access to of victim one. Well, Lil Rod wasn't around with Cassie, right? So no. Yeah, let me take that back. Individual one cannot be Lil Rod. No way. Because this person had to be around. It had to be Diddy's main videographer when Cassie was around. Who was that? Anybody know? As these videos are responsive to a request in number 23 in the corporate record subpoena, He provided me with these videos, and on October 29, I produced 13 videos regarding victim 1, some depicting her and one depicting my client regarding her, to the government as part of our rule in subpoena compliance. On November 12th, individual 1 contacted me and stated that the lead case agent approached him and that they were going to meet the next day. I instructed my client to immediately cease contact with individual 1. So they're basically saying, hey, we're doing our own investigation. I get the government is still doing a grand jury investigation on me, even though there's already an indictment, but they might supersede it. Diddy's lawyer is basically saying, if we hit somebody up, the government process is secret. We don't know when they're going to hit these people, when they're going to bring them in as part of the investigation. But if we do find out, we stop talking to them because we're not trying to threaten them. We're not trying to bribe them. We don't want to do none of that. And most of these calls are happening, even if Diddy's talking to these people, these calls are taking place in front of his attorneys, and we're making sure he ain't do nothing wrong, right? Now they're talking about his prison calls. They're saying that it's my understanding that BOP inmates receive 300 minutes of phone call per month, with an additional 100 minutes per month in November and December. Okay, so my understanding and my experience based on phone calls with clients that the calls are limited to 15 minutes in duration, and that the phone system allow inmates to make one call per hour. Okay, as I understand it, inmates will frequently use other inmates' minutes to allow for more than one call in the hour period, and 2 more calls once their 300 minutes expire. That's kind of, so they're not really saying Diddy ain't do it, and it's hard to even say, oh, Diddy's not talking on other people's PAC numbers, because the government is listening to all of it. So if they were like, oh, that's a lie, they're just gonna play the recordings, right? So it's kind of a weak defense, but I don't think that's enough to keep him in jail. So I think they're just kind of explaining it. Contact me ASAP. It says, after Diddy was incarcerated, the government advised me that they were aware of many contraband cellular devices in MDC and asked if I would change Mr. Combs' iCloud password. I agreed. To date, I've been unable to do so, but have been represented to the prosecutor that Mr. Combs does not have, nor does he use, a contraband cell phone cellular device. Contact me ASAP.com. And prison calls have been monitored and recorded and been reviewable by SIS officers at MDC. These communications, with the exception of legal video teleconferences, have subsequently been produced to the government. Since Mr. Combs has been incarcerated, I've been aware of his use of this stuff, though I did not have an understanding that this was unauthorized. I have spoken multiple times with the administrator of the website and confirmed that this method of communication utilized by the Bureau of Prisons TrueLink and CoreLink system was monitored by BOP officials who are able to monitor every single message Mr. Combs sends and receives. My understanding has now been verified through the government discovery because we have now received Mr. Combs' contact me ASAP messages. The government never instructed me to refrain from having him use the service, nor has BOP. He no longer uses the services as of November 16th. And, okay, so here we go. Additional video from Intercontinental Hotel incident. That's the video where he's beating the brakes off of Cassie, right? On November 13th, the government produced their 6th production of discovery to the defense. It included the production of this name of the file, which blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it basically says the government does have the video from the Intercontinental WWE Royal Rumble Hell in a Cell beatdown of Diddy to Cassie. Okay, bet. So they attached it here, and they says, I asked the government when they came into possession of it. The government replied that they came into possession of the video on August 7th. Huh? If the government leaked it, they should have been had it, right? Anyway. On November 15th, we retained somebody as an expert in connection with the retention in the matter. We provided him with a protective order in the case. Okay, so I guess these are about videos. At me and my co-counsel's direction, they created the video attached. Okay, what the fuck is that about? Okay, it just says sealed. All right. Now, let me just read this last part here. This is from the longer submission. And this is where Diddy claims that the government edited the videos on some slimy shit. Here we go. This is 20 pages. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're not reading through all that. Let me see. Okay. Okay. I'm skimming through it that we can get to good stuff. Okay. Since the filing of his motion, Mr. Combs has received even more new material information demonstrating that the government misled the court about the video at the prior bail hearings. On November 13th, the government produced even more material, new evidence, including whatever, of the March 5th, 2016 Intercontinental WWE match, where the government had this supposedly as early as August 7th, yet only produced it to the defense after Mr. Combs filed his renewed motion for bail. The video consists of, I don't know what that is, and used to create the government's principal piece of evidence at the earlier bail hearing. An edited and manipulated version of this video was published by CNN. The new whatever supports the defense argument at earlier bail hearings, showing the government knowingly mischaracterized and concealed critical facts during those hearings. So they're saying the government put out an edited video of the Cassie beatdown. As an analysis prepared by a forensic video analyst, Connor McCourt, okay, so that's not who that person is, the video the government submitted to the court omits footage corroborating the defense account, and it changes the sequence of events in material respects and does not accurately depict the events. The government had more complete so-and-so during the initial hearing, but chose not to share it with the court. Instead, it offered an edited version of the CNN video as it's the most powerful evidence and danger and obstruction. Mr. Combs argued that Exhibit A1 was not evidence of a freak-off. Oh, yeah, they were claiming that Cassie was running away from a freak-off, remember? And then Diddy came out in a robe like Val Venus with the baby oil lubed up and shit, you know what I mean, with the white towel, and just start, you know what I mean, running like motherfucking RoboCop, not RoboCop, the Terminator, trying to catch her. You feel what I'm saying? It said, but depicted a domestic dispute in which he ran down the hall to recover his clothes and cell phone. So they're saying they were having an argument, and Cassie, that's Diddy's story. Cassie was leaving with Diddy's clothes and his phone, and that's why Diddy chased her down. The government was saying Cassie was escaping from a freak-off, okay? The government invented a different narrative. It argued that our evidence will show that's not what happened, because if it's about the clothes and wanting to get the clothes back, which is not, why drag the victim back to the room? Yeah, that was a good point the government made, right? When they first went for the bail hearing, Diddy was trying to explain why the hell he was beating her ass. And he was like, nah, she took my shit. I was going to get it back. And the government said, Judge, do you believe that? If it's only about getting your stuff back and you didn't give a fuck if she left, why are you dragging her back to the room? Sounds like he was dragging her back to a freak-off. And the judge actually agreed. And I guess Diddy's lawyer is now explaining why Diddy dragged her back. As you can see on that tape, that's what he does. That's from a transcript. The government further argued that Combs throws a vase at her, which the district court cited in detaining Combs. The government apparently stands on those arguments here again, but they're false, and the government knows it. The more complete footage of the incident, in contrast to the government sensationalized CNN cut, contradicts the government representation. The video demonstrates that Mr. Combs, in fact, ran down the hall to retrieve a bag of clothes and a cell phone. He did not drag the victim back down the hall to the room, as the government, in its resequenced exhibit, falsely suggests. Ooh. So they're claiming that the government edited the video or put it out of sequence, that it looks like he was dragging her back to the room, but that's not what happened. And it said he did not throw the vase at victim one, but okay, this is crazy. This is like Tory showing up to court and say, yo, I ain't shoot her. Like, yo, my bullet never touched her, but like maybe the bullet hit something and that's something shattered and touched. Like, come on, you shot her, nigga. Like, obviously, I'm not saying that Tori did nothing. What I'm saying is, if that's your argument, you lost. Yo, I ain't throw the vase at her. I just threw what was in the vase at her. That's crazy. That's preposterous. It said he did not throw a vase at her, but only its contents, presumably flowers. Yo, that's crazy. I just threw some flowers at the bitch. What you mean? Hold on, now I gotta watch this video again. This is crazy. Yo, Diddy burnt out, man. Hold on. Diddy, Cassie. Nah, this is crazy. Let's see it right here.
Disturbing new video of music.
Video you're about to see is extremely graphic. The surveillance footage that was captured inside of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 allegedly shows Combs assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway. A now settled lawsuit filed by Ventura claimed that she was trying to leave the hotel after a drunken Combs punched her. The video appears to show Combs chasing her down the hall, throwing her to the ground, and then repeatedly kicking her. So far, there's been no comment from Combs or his attorney.
Well, I just want to watch the full video if we can find it. Oh, CNN.
You're going to show.
Lies on the ground, Combs then kicks.
Okay, here we go.
Obtained by CNN begins as she enters the hallway. The complaint says, as she exited, Mr. Combs awoke and began screaming at Miss Ventura. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling at her. The complaint goes on to say he grabbed her and then took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her. In the surveillance video, Combs can be seen grabbing Ventura and throwing her to the ground. As Ventura lies on the ground, Combs then kicks her twice and attempts to drag her on the floor back to the hotel room. Ventura is seen picking up a hotel phone. Combs seems to walk back to the hotel room, then returns and appears to shove her in a corner. Moments later, he can then be seen throwing an object in her direction. According to Ventura's now settled lawsuit, the pair began dating
Okay. So, wait, let me see the vase part, right?
attorney to the hotel room. Ventura lies on the ground. Combs then kicks her twice and attempts to drag her on the floor back.
It does make it look like he's dragging her. And by the way, like, I mean, if it's out of sequence, you see something dropped here
the hotel
that I believe dropped or not dropped. Oh, I think, my bad, I might be slow. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not caping for nobody. I got to say these things because I can't critically and objectively analyze the video without people like, no, you're picking up for Diddy. No. Maybe he wasn't dragging her. Maybe he was just trying to drag the thing out of her hand and she's holding on to it. So it looks like she's getting dragged. Because it looks like she lets go of the item and she's stopped right here, right? Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Let's see.
Grabbing Ventura and throwing her to the ground.
Or did he grab her hand? Let me see.
As Ventura...
By the way, this video is all bad no matter what.
Lies on the ground, Combs...
This nigga's tweaking.
Then kicks her twice and attempts...
And it looked like he's grabbing her hands, though. Right? Is he grabbing her hands or something she's holding on to?
And attempts...
Maybe she had his cell phone in his hand? I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I'm not, again, in no way, shape, or form am I picking up for Diddy, but this type of run is the type of run that a nigga does when your bitch got your phone and it's unlocked.
Against music mode.
When it's unlocked? Oh my God. You ever seen that one where the nigga's in the hospital? You ever seen that one with it, like, yo, hospital run, girl has phone. You ever seen that? Look. They got a video like, yo. Nah, they got one with a nigga's running out after he realized his girl got his phone. Oh, hell nah. Look at this.
Y'all see your girl go through here? She took my phone.
Fuck that bullet wound. Yeah, that nigga's gone.
Fuck, man. Hey, where the fuck she at, bro? Come grab me.
Oh, we in Kansas City.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that's what it was. Does that make sense?
Surveillance footage obtained exclusively by CNN appears to corroborate some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs wearing only a towel, assaulting his
Yeah, that's wild, though. That's wild. Okay. Wait, let me see.
then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced
Nah, he looked like he grabs her.
Cassie Ventura in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next.
He grabbed her hoodie. Yeah, he ain't grab her. He ain't grab something she had. Nah, he was pulling her. That for sure he pulling her. Okay. He says he ran down to get a bag of clothes and a cell phone. He did not drag victim one back down to the hallway. It kind of looked like he was trying to. Yeah, he wasn't successful, but looked like he was trying to. And it says, as the government resequenced exhibit falsely suggests. And then he says he didn't throw a vase at the victim. Where's the vase part? Cassie hotel video. Is it this the full video?
New surveillance video into our hotel, and at the time after it was in the fall, sex trafficking.
Yeah, there's one where he's like sitting down and he's like throwing shit at her.
Welcome back.
Ventura to try several expressed the courage.
Day morning quarterback.
Why can't we find like the full raw video?
New survey to met at her. The complaint. The Holmes has
Yeah, we can't find that angle no more. But yeah, there's an angle where he's kind of sitting down and he's throwing something. Yeah, that doesn't have the full thing.
a warning. 2016. Punch Ventura in a corner. Met into settle the heels of a series of
this is the other angle. Okay, here we go.
Forward to bring this to light. The video hasn't been seen publicly.
Oh yeah, he's pulling her
Before, and comes on the heels of a series of civil lawsuits alleging Combs' involvement in sex trafficking and sexual abuse.
Yeah.
To the hotel town, Combs began in the surveillance video. Combs in a hallway at a Los abuse against
Cassie. Let me see. Throws vase. I don't know why we can't find the vase part. His lawyer said he ain't throw the vase. He just threw what was in the vase. That made it a lot better. Okay, I can't find it. Anyway, whatever. All right, let's keep reading. He says, he ain't throw the vase, but only the contents. Threw some flowers at her ass, okay? And she was not only able to leave once security, and she was not only able to leave once security staff intervened. They're saying, in other words, it is the government's explanation. It's the government whose explanation is just another cover-up, just more lies. And they're using the transcript to kind of bulk up what they're saying. The true facts corroborate what Mr. Combs has stated all along. The video is not evidence of a coerced freak-off and sex trafficking, but a rather sad glimpse into a decade-long consensual relationship between Mr. Combs and victim one. They said the new evidence undermines the government initial proffer. It says Mr. Combs' new evidence undermines the basis for the initial detention decision, and none of the government's more specific arguments demonstrate otherwise. So the communications with victim one do not see evidence of sex trafficking. It said not one piece of correspondence that we have reviewed between Mr. Combs and Cassie, the sole victim in the indictment, corroborates the prosecution's sex trafficking theory or its representation at the bail hearings. And the government still does not offer a single piece of actual evidence supporting the allegation. Instead, it reiterates its proffer of cherry-picked citations to purported messages. If the messages in context actually support the government's argument, why hasn't it produced them to the defense or provided them to the court? The government brushes off victim one's motives for accusing Mr. Combs as having no bearing on the question of bail. But victim one is the only victim identified in the indictment, and her credibility will be, if not the key issue at trial. It already tells you how Diddy's rocking here. It's saying that Cassie's credibility is going to be key. They're going to attack. We're going to find out a lot of things about Cassie at this goddamn trial, man. If the jury does not credit her testimony, it will have to acquit him of the sex trafficking count. Her motives thus directly relate and diminish the weight of the evidence against Mr. Combs, as well as the nature of the seriousness of the purported danger he presents. Now, remember the first indictment and the first detention hearing, they were talking about Diddy blowing up Kid Cudi's car. Again, we're going to see if those people, or there's going to be more people to testify to that, right? They said there's no second victim at all. So the government doesn't even dispute that despite labeling a second person a victim of sex trafficking, it has never even spoken to her. Presumably for this reason, the government also fails to dispute the fact that this individual was voluntarily intimate with Combs for years. Okay, so apparently they were trying to say there was another woman who was a victim of Diddy, but this was just one of the side chicks getting banged out willingly, okay? So the government now falsely portrays this as sex trafficking, and they redacted a bunch of shit. The government simply has no response to these facts. Instead, it doubles down on more misleading representation to the court. It suggests Mr. Combs is tampering with this individual through financial coercion, including as recent as mid-September 2024. Ooh. Who do y'all think Diddy has? This sounds like, with all due respect, one of his concubines or one of his hoes that he has on a monthly allowance, right? Because it said that the government said that Diddy last paid this person in September 2024. And they're suggesting that that payment, especially since Diddy been locked up, could just be payment that's keeping them quiet, right? But according to Diddy's lawyer, Diddy was banging this chick out for years. And we have to assume that, the whole thing with Diddy is that Diddy has his woman on allowances. I think that's actually true. Kalena speaks Cassie allowance. I think I saw something that she was getting a good amount. Look, $30K weekly. Here we go.
Cassie.
Here we go.
Love her to death, naive.
30 racks?
Like getting high. She likes partying.
She like getting high and partying.
She liked that. Was the thing. She's a model.
Okay.
She was well taken care of. She was. You told me a story about going to an apartment one time. Yeah, which one? The fucking one that would look like a closet? That all white fucking condo in New York?
Does she sound jealous when she's talking about this or no?
That's just glass with glass stairs escalating up the fucking 70-foot ceiling, 100-foot ceiling.
Nah, she sounds a little bit jealous. I ain't gonna hold you.
Wild shit. Spoiled. So, I'm not saying Cassie is not deserving of any of these things, but this was her life. And so, though I was okay, I was like, middle class, okay.
I thought she said it verbatim, but apparently she was getting spoiled by Diddy. Her allowance was 30 to 50K weekly. Holy shit. I'm wondering this victim too, they would look like they were getting an allowance too. I guess that's how Diddy keeps so many bitches, right? Just give them an allowance. Tell them shut the fuck up. And, here we go. The government, it said they're claiming that Diddy's tampering with these people through financial coercion, but it could be like, that's their allowance, right? Okay, yet the government knows, but again, withholds from court that blah, 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 blah. There is simply no financial coercion at all. I'm thinking it's some allowance shit. And if that's his deal with his girlfriends or side chick, that's not financial coercion if, this is all consensual and voluntarily intimate for years, right? Mr. Combs did not object the grand jury witnesses. Okay, I think we kind of got into that a little bit. All right, so we could go there. Further warrants, blah, blah. I think we could skip that. All right. And yeah, so, Mr. Combs, they're saying this new evidence does not justify detaining him, which I know the argument they're going to make. They're saying, yeah, even if he did use people's cell phones or phone time in jail, as long as he's not fucking with witnesses or threatening people, that's something for the prisons to deal with. That's contraband or him breaking the rules, but that's not something for this court to decide. Right? So they're saying he's just not doing obstruction. Okay, and then they even get into what the lawyer had said on the TMZ documentary, basically saying that, the public statement was that, I think they're getting at Mr. Combs because he's a black man who's made a lot of money, and the government has said, you're calling us racist. That's why the gag order was put in. So there's a bunch of stuff they put in. Okay, so risk of flight. They talk about the plane. He's going to be 24/7 custody of qualified security personnel. All right. Okay. And so this is currently Diddy's new lawyers, right? So Shapiro came in for the appeal, and he has appeal for bond, but they're sitting on everything, and they're representing him for everything too, it appears. Mark Agnifilio and Terry Garagos, they're coming out of Agnifilio in Traitor LLP. And then Anthony Rico, I don't know how to say his name, Richo, is out of is for the appeal, and I think this person's for the appeal as well, but they're all just looking over everything, because if anything needs to go to the appellate court during the trial, they're going to do it. So main counsel here, appellate. Got you. All right. Diddy's working, man. Diddy is working. He's working. All right. All good. Before I get to Meek Mill, man. Oh, here's another thing too. Apparently, the lawyer who has filed all these lawsuits against Diddy has now been publicly sued. And people are claiming that he's an assault or an abuser as well. So remember Tony Busby? Remember we heard that there's a high-profile lawyer that is suing him for extortion on behalf of a John Doe, which we don't know who that is, but supposedly he's a friend of Diddy's who's really high-profile. I don't know. And the only thing we knew is that they work for I forget, Quinn and Emmanuel, which we had a few guesses, but we don't know if it's true. Well, now this lawyer looked like somebody's really hitting this dude. Like they're sending a message to him saying, "Yo, you're barking up the wrong tree. You already got Diddy. Not cut your losses, cut your wins there." Apparently, this lawyer just got sued for abusing or assaulting a divorce client, and they're saying he used a champagne flute as a weapon. The lawyer representing more than 120 alleged victims for Diddy has now himself been sued for assault. And the woman who's suing is Jane Doe. This is how you know they're being petty. You're using John Doe and Jane Doe. You're getting sued twice in a week, and we're using John Doe and Jane Doe. So somebody's clapping back at this guy. A woman suing him as Jane Doe has claimed that they were a former client of Tony Busby, and she's filed a lawsuit obtained by TMZ in which she alleges that the attorney assaulted her while repping her in a divorce case. The documents don't lay out the specifics of the alleged assault, but a source connected to the woman, which somebody offered up really the lawyer. How are they in cahoots with TMZ like that? Unless somebody powerful is making this happen and they're feeding it to TMZ, just like how the government fed that video to CNN. All of this is by design, chat. All of this is by design. So they're saying the documents doesn't say this, but TMZ has a source. Why would TMZ, With all due respect, this guy's not famous. Who gives a fuck about who he's abused? But it does matter when somebody's trying to undermine his efforts to represent 120 people and probably trying to do a bunch of quote what they call shakedowns. They're trying to make it seem this guy's a piece of shit. And the mere fact that TMZ has a source on on a woman randomly suing this guy who's not even famous, somebody's feeding it to TMZ. And it's somebody who this guy pissed off. Might be that high profile person that we don't know the name yet, who's claiming he's extorting them. We'll see. But a source connected to the woman tells TMZ she's alleging she was in a public place when Busby saw her, flew in a fit of rage, and allegedly pushed a champagne flute into her face, chipping her tooth. She says she has both medical and dental records to prove her injuries. She also alleges that he committed malpractice, messing up or claiming he messed up her divorce case, costing her millions of dollars. We're told the alleged, well, who was she married to that she thought her divorce case was going to be millions of dollars? That's another thing. We're told the alleged assault occurred.
Everyone knows every time Diddy's name comes up in something, it's always some freaky issue by the sea, man. Now, in what's new, you feel me? Now, new information's coming out. Diddy lost a lawsuit where he essentially owes $100-something million. That person, I'm not gonna lie, bro, you're never seeing that money. It's sad to say. You're never ever seeing that money ever. Yeah. Is the diddler. You're never seeing that money. Got some of the best lawyers in the world. He's a billionaire. Still, supposedly. You feel me? He's liquidating his assets now. Selling houses and doing all that. But bro, you're not seeing any money. Like, Diddy's, the only reason he won the case because Diddy just never went to court. That's it. But it's your boy Big Act News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how you guys feel about everything. And I'm out.